So we've had some questions about W sitting. W sitting can be controversial, and I'll just give you my thoughts on it and why I educate the way I do and make the decisions that I do. So W sitting as a transitional position or every once in a while, not a problem. What happens though is that kids more and more, so for those of you that don't know, I can't even get into the position really, but W sitting would be like when your kid is sitting all the way down like this, their bum in between their feet. So their feet are on the outside, kind of making a W position. Um, for me to modify right now, since I can't get into the position, I'll do like a kneeling. So I, you can see I have a puzzle here. So oftentimes I hear from families that they like it because they can get to the toys in front of them easily, where if they're sitting in crisscross, they feel too far away. Part of that is because the kids that W sit and that sit like that the majority of the time have really tight hamstrings. So when they're sitting, and they generally have a weak core. So put those two things together, and when they're sitting in crisscross, they're back like this because they're in this posterior pelvic tilt. So yes, things feel very, very far away, and I get it. They don't want to play like that. Um, so a few things you can think about. I like to encourage side sitting or mermaid sitting. Um, it causes them to work their trunk. They can still get here. It's an easy transition point. You're using trunk rotation, which is one of the other big things I don't like about W sitting is when you're W sitting, everything is just forward and back. Like it's a lot harder to use rotation and you don't need to transition through rotation. You just go up and you come back. So, how do we stop the kids that really like this position? It's hard. It's hard once it's a habit. So, there's a few things you could do. You could find ways to get them up off the ground so that they're sitting in it less. You can start to work on side sitting. Now, if they haven't done side sitting, it can be really hard and they're going to feel like this. A trick you can do, just pretend that this is a little table, is if you have something that's a little elevated for them to lean on, it can alleviate some of the discomfort. And it's not so much discomfort, it's more that it's hard and it's not a position that they're used to. So putting something elevated in front of them can help with this. And then over time, it can come down to the ground. Um, having little stools around for them to sit on so that they can do this. The other thing would be doing activities to work on the core. So if you get them in crisscross, like how can you work on getting it so that they're not sitting back like this, like they can come up. So playing games here to encourage this anterior pelvic tilt and upright position. Um, Maybe it's putting things around and like making it a game, like how far can you reach so that they start to practice that movement. Um, but again, it's really hard once it becomes a habit for them. So I think what helps is if when you are purposely playing with them to work on other positions, also working on core strength and rotation. Um, so however they're sitting, whether even in a chair, working on that like rotation of the trunk so that all the parts of the muscles are getting used together. um, for babies, or to try to prevent this to begin with, I always, always, always work on the diagonals. Um, I'll just give a quick intro to that and then we'll do this as another video. So basically, when they first start transitioning, like they're on hands and knees, I don't let them just come straight back like this. I do everything to the side. So I'm almost in a mermaid sit here. Um, And then if I'm sitting and playing, I transition through this way. I just start early teaching them that, really getting them to use that trunk rotation, which is going to facilitate the hip rotation and is going to help increase the repertoire of movement. So I will continue to talk more about W sitting and answer more questions, but that's just a brief chat about it right now. Thanks, guys.